Restaurant owner told Al Pacino, "If you don't like it, get out." 90 seconds later, that same man was begging for forgiveness. No one could have predicted why. The restaurant was called Stella's, Upper East Side, Manhattan. White tablecloths, crystal chandeliers, the kind of place where a glass of water costs $12 and they don't blink. Al Pacino sat alone at table 7, corner booth, away from the windows. He always chose corners. Old habit. You can't be surrounded if your back is to the wall. He'd finished his meal 20 minutes ago. Grilled salmon, asparagus, nothing fancy. He wasn't here for the food. He was here because it was quiet. The waiter approached. Young kid, maybe 23. Nervous smile, white shirt so crisp it looked painful. "How was everything, sir?" Pacino looked up. "Fine." "Wonderful, I'll bring your check." The kid disappeared, returned 2 minutes later with a small leather folder, placed it gently on the table like it was made of glass. Pacino opened it. $847. He blinked. Read it again. Still $847. For salmon and asparagus. Pacino's jaw tightened. He looked at the itemized list. Salmon, $185. Asparagus, $47. Water, $12 per glass. He'd had 3 glasses, but there was something else. Service appreciation fee, $340. Not a tip. A mandatory fee. 40% of the total. Pacino leaned back. His fingers drummed the table once, twice. The waiter noticed. Came back over. "Is everything all right, sir?" "What's this?" Pacino pointed to the service fee. "Oh, that's our service appreciation charge. It's automatic for all guests." "Automatic?" "Yes, sir. It goes to support our staff." Pacino looked at the kid. Really looked at him. Saw the exhaustion in his eyes. The worn shoes. The way his hands trembled slightly. "How much of this do you get?" The waiter blinked. "I'm sorry?" "The $340. How much goes to you?" The kid shifted his weight. I don't think I should answer the question." A pause. "About 15% of it, sir." Pacino did the math. $51. The kid got $51 out of $340. But that wasn't what made Pacino's blood start to simmer. What made him angry was what happened next. A man approached the table. Mid-50s. Perfectly tailored navy suit. Gold watch that cost more than most people's cars. Slicked back hair. Smile that didn't reach his eyes. Antonio Marcello, the owner. "Mr. Pacino." His voice was smooth, practiced. "I hope everything was to your satisfaction." Pacino held up the check. $847. "Yes, our prices reflect the quality of our establishment." "For salmon?" Marcello's smile tightened. "For the experience, location, ambiance, discretion." He gestured around the restaurant. "You understand?" "I understand you're charging 40% service fees and giving your staff 15% of it." The smile vanished. "That's internal business. Where does the other 85% go?" Marcello's eyes went cold. "Mr. Pacino, if you have a problem with our pricing, perhaps Stella's isn't the right establishment for you." The words hung in the air like a challenge. The waiter had backed away. Other diners were starting to notice. The restaurant's ambient noise, clinking silverware, quiet conversations, began to fade as people sensed something brewing. Pacino stood up slowly. His chair scraped against the hardwood floor. He reached into his jacket, pulled out his wallet, opened it, and threw it onto the table. The leather wallet hit the wood with a heavy thud. It fell open. Cash spilled out. 20s, 50s, hundreds. Bills scattered across the white tablecloth like leaves. The restaurant went silent. Marcello stared at the money, then at Pacino. "What are you—" "I'm paying," Pacino said quietly. His voice was ice. "But first, I want you to understand something." He pointed at the scattered bills. "That's probably $2,000. More than enough to cover your inflated bill and your thief service fee." Marcello's face flushed red. "How dare you!" "But here's the thing." Pacino took a step closer. "I don't mind paying for quality. I don't mind paying for service. What I mind is being treated like a wallet with legs." The owner's jaw clenched. "If you don't like our policies, Mr. Pacino, you know where the door is." Pacino smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "You're right. I do." He turned, started walking toward the exit. 60 people watched him go. The waiter looked panicked. Marcello stood there with a satisfied smirk, arms crossed. But here's what no one expected. Pacino stopped at the door, his hand on the handle. He stood there for 3 seconds. 5, 10. Then he turned around and walked back. Not to his table, to Marcello. The owner's smirk faltered, just slightly, because something in Pacino's eyes had changed. "You told me I know where the door is," Pacino said. His voice was conversational now, almost friendly. "And you're absolutely right. I do." He reached into his jacket again, pulled out another wallet. This one was different, worn, old leather. From it, he pulled out a business card, handed it to Marcello. The owner looked at it. His face went pale, because it wasn't Pacino's card. It was the business card of Michael Torino, owner of Torino's, the restaurant 3 blocks away, Stella's biggest competitor. "Michael's a friend of mine," Pacino said quietly. "We go back 40 years. He asked me to come here tonight, to see what all the fuss was about, to see if Stella's was really as good as people said." Marcello's hands started to shake. "I was going to give you a fair review," Pacino continued. "Tell him you ran a decent operation. Maybe even send some business your way." He paused. "But then you showed me who you really are." Pacino turned to the young waiter. The kid was frozen, eyes wide. "What's your name?" "See, Carlos, sir." "Carlos. You seem like a good kid. Hard worker." Pacino pulled out his phone, opened his contacts. "I'm sending you Michael Torino's number. Tell him Al sent you. He's always looking for good people, people he treats with respect." Carlos's eyes filled with tears. He nodded, unable to speak. Pacino looked back at Marcello. "As for you, I'm going to tell Michael exactly what I experienced here tonight. The prices, the fees, the attitude, and I'm going to tell everyone else I know too." He leaned in closer. His voice dropped to a whisper, but in the silent restaurant, everyone heard it. "You built this place on reputation, on word of mouth, on people like me telling people like them that this was the place to be." He straightened up. "Enjoy watching it crumble." Marcello's mouth opened, closed. No words came out, because he knew. In that moment, he knew exactly what had just happened. Al Pacino wasn't just a customer. He was connected, influential. One bad word from him could destroy years of work. "Wait," Marcello said. His voice cracked. "Mr. Pacino, please. I apologize. I didn't realize." "You didn't realize I mattered." Pacino's eyes were steel. "That's the problem. You should treat everyone like they matter, not just the ones you recognize." He gestured to the money still scattered on his table. "Carlos, that's yours. All of it. Not 15%. All of it." The young waiter's legs nearly gave out. $2,000. Probably more than he made in 2 months. "Mr. Pacino," Marcello was pleading now. Actually pleading. "Please, I made a mistake. I was wrong. Just give me a chance to..." "To what?" Pacino's voice cut like a blade. "To pretend you're not exactly who you showed me you are?" He shook his head. "I've known men like you my whole life. Men who measure worth in dollars, who think money makes them better than everyone else, who treat kindness like weakness." Marcello's face was white as paper now. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Other diners were recording on their phones. The story was already spreading, in real time. "I'll do anything," Marcello said. His voice was barely a whisper. "Please, don't destroy what I've built." Pacino was quiet for a long moment. He looked at the owner, really looked at him, saw the desperation, the fear, and something else, the recognition that he'd been caught. "You want me to save your restaurant?" Pacino asked, and Marcello nodded frantically. "Yes, please. I'll change everything. The fees, the prices. Here's what you're going to do." Pacino's voice was steady, calm. "You're going to eliminate that service appreciation fee. Tonight. For everyone." Marcello nodded. "Done. You're going to lower your prices to reasonable levels. If Michael can serve the same quality food for $60, so can you." "Yes, absolutely. And you're going to treat your staff like human beings. Pay them fairly. Respect them. Because they're the only reason this place runs." "I will, I promise." Pacino stared at him for 5 long seconds. "I don't believe you." Marcello's face crumbled. "Please." "But I'm going to give you one chance anyway." Pacino pulled out his phone. "I'm going to come back here. 3 months from now, unannounced, and I'm going to see if anything changed. He paused. And if it did, I'll tell people you learned something. If it didn't, he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Marcello understood. Thank you, he breathed. Thank you, Mr. Pacino. I won't let you down. Pacino didn't respond. He just walked back to table 7, picked up his original wallet, left the scattered cash for Carlos, and walked out of Stella's. The door closed behind him. The rain had started. Cold drops hit his face as he stood on the sidewalk, but he smiled. Because here's what most people don't understand about power. Real power isn't making someone fear you. Real power is making someone recognize what they could lose. Not through threats, through truth. 90 seconds, that's all it took. 90 seconds to go from get out to please forgive me. Not because Pacino yelled, not because he made a scene, because he showed Marcello a mirror and forced him to look at what he'd become. 3 months later, Pacino did return to Stella's, unannounced, just like he'd promised. The prices had changed. The service fee was gone. Carlos was still there, smiling, confident now. And when Marcello saw Pacino walk in, he didn't approach with arrogance. He approached with gratitude. Thank you, he said quietly, for the wake-up call. Pacino nodded, sat down, ordered the salmon. It cost $65 now, fair price, and it tasted better than it ever had, not because the recipe changed, but because respect had finally been added to the ingredients. The question isn't whether you'll face someone who tries to diminish you. You will. The question is, will you have the presence of mind to show them the mirror instead of just walking away?